Hi, I'm Nick Fraser, Technical Manager for PRS Guitars Europe. Just going to talk you through a few ways to sanitize your guitars to keep them safe for you and your customers. So what do you do when a customer wants to try a guitar? First, you've got to get them to hand sanitize. In fact, they've got to sanitize any part of the body that might come in contact with the guitar, like the forearm for instance. We recommend that sales staff use disposable gloves when handling guitars. Then you can take your guitar and put it in a safe area for the customer to try. Once the customer has finished with the guitar, tell them to put it back on the stand. So when your customer's finished with the guitar, remember to clean any parts of the amp they might have touched, the jack cable, anything like that. First job, dispose of the glove. Next, we need to clean and sanitize the guitar. You need to be using alcohol-based wipes and cleaners because alcohol is the essential ingredient for fighting COVID. A 70% alcohol content is the maximum. You don't want any more than 70% alcohol content because otherwise you might risk damaging sensitive nitrocellulose finishes. Make sure you have a procedure and stick to it. I'd recommend starting at the top and working your way down. Tuners, obviously a key point that might have been touched by the customer. Bit around the headstock. Strings, obviously, although hopefully the sanitizer wipe will have kept them protected. Back of the neck. Back of the body is important because obviously the customer's body will have been touching this. In front of the body, pay attention to the forearm area. Your controls. You're basically doing all of it. But if you do it in the same way every time, you won't miss any bits. So the next stage is to get some guitar cleaner, preferably a nitrocellulose safe one if you're dealing with a nitrocellulose guitar, because we need to get off any residue that might have been left by the wipes that we've just used. I recommend a microfiber cloth, and then again maybe work from the top down. If you're doing tuners, instead of spraying it on the headstock, because it's hard to get to places, spray it directly onto the cloth, and then you can work on the tuners close up like that. And anywhere where you might have left a little bit of residue. Again, we've got the back of the neck. Don't forget to use a cleaner rather than a polish. This polish isn't really designed to remove stuff in the same way. Little tip when dealing with black finishes is they're very sensitive to scratching, so don't use too much pressure, either with the wipe or with the cloth. Particularly concentrate on metal parts, because as we know, COVID can lurk on those for quite a long time. If the guitar gets used and cleaned a lot of times, you might see the fretboard drying out, but you should be looking after your stock anyway, so maybe a bit of fingerboard oil wouldn't go amiss. And you could possibly think about some string cleaner. Again, if it's building up residue, not a bad idea generally if the guitar's being tried a lot. Of course, if you want to avoid doing all this, you just have to sell the guitar to the customer, then you can put it straight into the case and they can take it away with them. Finally, the guitar is clean, now you've got to sanitize yourself. Hope you found these tips helpful. From everyone at PRS, stay safe.